Hey guys, and welcome to the first installment of our new interview series, You Aint Lion. You Aint Lion is meant to be a fun interview series to highlight some fellow YouTubers and fellow football fans from around the league. To set the pace and show you the flow of the show, today we have RachelMarieSports. Yo, 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 what up guys? Welcome to my crib. Oh, sorry. Less MTV cribs. Got it. I got it. Great, Rachel. So happy to have you. You look so pretty. Thank you, Rachel. So do you. Thank you. You're too sweet. Let's go ahead and get started. So first, how long have you been a Lions fan? I was raised a Lions fan. I would say that I didn't really get into it as deeply as I have now until I was about a senior in high school. So about 2009. Right after the 0-16 debauchery. Oh, well, I'm sure you're not too upset that you weren't following so closely for that. But that's great. And how did you become such a massive Lions fan? I always tell people this, that my love for Lions football has nothing to do with geography, as I was actually born in Littleton, Colorado. But my parents were born and raised in Detroit, and my dad took me to countless Lions and Red Wings games growing up. Just kind of raised me on Detroit sports, so when I hear that question, usually I answer it by saying it's not geographical, but it's in my blood. Okay, so that answers my next question, which was gonna be, are you from Detroit? But do you live there now? Right, I am not from Detroit, just family from Detroit and still in the Detroit area. And I do not live in Detroit now. I am actually located in the most magical place on earth, Orlando, Florida. Ah, Disney girl, huh? And what's your favorite part about being a Lions fan? I think my favorite part about being a Lions fan is rooting for the underdog and the fact that this is an intensely loyal fan base. Nobody can accuse any Lions fan of being a bandwagoner, and I love that. I love pulling for a win every Sunday when it seems less likely, and I think that that makes every win feel even better. Great, I definitely agree. And what is your least favorite part of being a Lions fan? My least favorite part about being a Lions fan, I would have to say, would be the negativity that sometimes takes over the fan base. I think it gets a little bit out of control and people can take it way too far. It's kind of like, it's still a sport. It's meant for us to have fun, you know? I totally agree. It can get taken a little bit too far. And are you a fan of all Detroit sports? I am a fan of all Detroit sports. Like I said, I grew up going to a ton of Red Wings games. We still go when they play in Tampa and down in Fort Lauderdale. My parents are season ticket holders to Tigers spring training, and my fiance and I often grab a couple of those tickets as well. I would say I follow Pistons basketball the least, but still a Pistons fan. Awesome, so pretty all-encompassing. And do you have any favorite traditions for during the season? We actually do. My fiance and I make it a point to go to an away game a season until I have seen all 32 NFL stadiums. I know that that's kind of switching up right now with the Vegas stadium, and I'm actually really excited for that one to open. But yeah, that's what we do. We're knocking them all off the list. And then of course, if the Lions play any of the teams in Florida, the Bucks, Dolphins, Jags, then we are there, no doubt. That's a pretty great bucket list. And do you have any superstitions that you carry with you during the season? I do have some strange superstitions. I think probably the strangest superstition is that I will actually not wear the underwear I wore last Sunday if the Lions lost. True story. You're weird. And where and how do you like to watch football on Sundays? I like to watch football in person the most, obviously. But me and a group of friends, we always go up to a little spot in downtown Orlando where I worked for quite a few years called Market on Magnolia. They have the package and a ton of TVs, so you can not only watch your game, but you can watch all your fantasy players as well. So it's between that or going over to our friend Steve's house, who is also another relocated Lions fan living here in Orlando. He grills out, he makes Flint-style Coney dogs, the works. Well, that's awesome, and what a shameless plug. Can't wait to hear from our lawyers about that one. Anyways, How many jerseys do you have? I currently own 5. I get one more jersey every year at Christmas time. So it kind of just depends on who I want then. Right now I'm rolling with a Stafford, a Calvin Johnson, a Kerryon Johnson, a Kenny Golladay, and a Darius Slay. 2 color rush, 2 home, and 1 away. Great, a number would have sufficed. Anywho, parody videos. Why do you do them? I think it's important to kind of keep it a little bit lighthearted. I do see a lot of negativity in the fan base, like I said before, and I love football, so I want to talk about it, but I don't always want to be down in the dumps. I think it's fun to joke around, and I think it's fun to bring a little lightheartedness into the situation. Noble indeed. And how do you feel about being a female voice in the sport? I think it's great. I think there are not enough female voices in the sport, and I think it goes against that whole theory that men know more about sports than women, and I pride myself on knowing a lot about football and keeping up with it and being able to hold my own. Yes, girl. And what made you decide to be a content creator? Because, I kind of felt like I missed my calling. When I was in school, I really didn't know how I wanted to spend the rest of my life, and never did it ever pop into my head that I could put my love of football into a major or something of that sort that could maybe help me into that type of career. So I figured better late than never, and if you don't make time for the things that you love, then how are you living your life? And that's kind of what led me to this. Well, I'm glad you came back around to it. And what is the overall goal of your content? Overall goal of my content is to talk Lions football, stay up to date. I mean, you'll find that there are real stats and facts, that we're talking about a lot of what actually happens on the field. We're talking about the draft, we're talking about free agency, we're talking about post and pre-game, all that kind of stuff. But we're also adding like some fun, some jokes, some laughs, because that's what I think football should be. I think it should be fun, and I still think it should be factual. Wow, beauty and brains. And where can people follow along with more of your content? You can find me here on YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you know that. Under RachelMarieSports. That's gonna be the same on Facebook. And for tags on Twitter, it is at RachelMarieSports, and Instagram at RachelMarieSports. Fantastic, Rachel, thank you. All right, guys, be sure to follow along with Rachel on all her forms of social media, and right here on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to her. And with that being said, we're gonna move on to our Roaring Rapid Fire Round. The Roaring Rapid Fire Round is a series of 10 questions that we are going to ask in a quick succession, and she's only gonna have 5 seconds to answer. Let's go.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Should there be a documentary about you called The Lion Queen?
Of course.
Do you think Carol Baskin killed her husband?
Definitely.
Why do you think it's called Honolulu Blue?
I have no idea.
Okay, pass. Who is the sexiest person in football?
Tom Brady.
Who is the sexiest person to ever interview you?
You.
Where do you think Simba and Nala first made out?
At Ford Field.
Have you ever owned a Ford vehicle?
I haven't, my dad has.
Is that because of a personal vendetta against the Ford family?
No, I don't think they should sell the team.
Do you think this would be more interesting if you were actually on fire?
Definitely.
If the Staffords had you over for dinner, what hors d'oeuvres would you bring?
Cupcakes and sprinkles, like their daughters. Wow, isn't she great? Thanks for tuning in once again to this inaugural episode of You Aint Lion. And don't forget to follow Rachel on all forms of social media, like, share, and subscribe here on YouTube. One Pride!